Aloha, my name is Niall Scanlon, and this is my final IDS independent study project. So, the project that I decided to do focused on finding inner peace through physical activity, and this is a way to bridge my two different degrees of intercultural peace building and exercise science. Um, And so I did a study on how we can find inner peace, or is there a way to find inner peace through physical activity? So the mission of my project, like I stated before, was to see if there's a direct correlation between finding inner peace while participating in physical activity. I am looking to link physical activity as a driving force and advocate to those who are struggling with mental health issues. um, there have been multiple studies that state physical activity is a great tool to completing the overall health and wellness of individuals by providing a sense of accomplishment that releases endorphins to aid in the happiness of clients. Um, so, what I did was I provided workouts for each individual while measuring their overall well being through repeated surveys throughout the study. I held workout sessions 3 to 5 days a week. Um, and one of the things that I noticed right off the bat that I had to adjust to was having different people at each workout session. So I didn't always have the same people, and that was probably the hardest part of this study, was that I couldn't have a consistent and accurate overview of surveys and who was going to be there. So what I ended up doing was doing it more as a collaborative type survey and crunching numbers at the end. Before each workout, I had passed out this questionnaire to all of the participants that came to work out for the day. And it was just it was just 5 questions. It was really simple, but it helped me to be able to scale where they were at, not only physically but mentally and emotionally. And so I used a number scale, that way it would be easier to graph and chart later. And so my first question: on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, rate your energy level for today. Again, this is all before the workout that day. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, how excited were you for today's workout? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, rate your emotional well-being for the day. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, rate your mental health for the day. And last one, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, how would you rate your physical health? And then immediately after the workouts, I gave the same questionnaire with just a little, I tweaked it just a little bit. And I asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, rate your energy level after today's workout. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, how excited are you that you completed today's workout? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, rate your emotional well-being for the day. On the scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, rate your mental health for the day. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, how would you rate your physical health? So the reason why I gave these questionnaires after the workout was because I wanted to see if the release of those endorphins actually changed their mood, changed their emotions, changed their mental health, and how they felt that day. And I wanted to get it right after the workout because that's when I would have them and I could, track it immediately. And so on this next slide, we're going to watch a video, and let me see. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, in this slide, it hopefully it can pull up later, but it shows a video and it kind of just gives an overview of the scientific background of linking physical activity to mental health. And it talks about how it releases this chemical and endorphins that scientifically prove working out increases the overall mental and emotional well-being of individuals. So it's about 3 minutes long, and that's what this video is. So in these next few slides, it kind of just shows the different participants that I had. And it was both men and women, which I truly enjoyed. It was nice to tweak the workouts and to give out these surveys to both the male and female gender, because you could definitely tell a difference between the two. The men were mainly more just for the physical part of the activity, and they didn't really like to talk about their emotions, of course, whereas the women, were a little bit more vulnerable, more open about things. But these next few slides just show some of the workouts that we did. What I really loved about these workouts is that it pushed the participants not only physically but mentally and emotionally as well. When I first started the workouts, I created the workout to gradually get a little bit more difficult as the weeks and the months went on. And so you can start to see how physically capable these participants are. What was also nice was that a lot of them were available anytime during the day. I tried to get most of them as a group instead of individual workouts, just because being around your peers and having that support system really helps when you're trying to work on that physical and mental aspect of working out. So it was really nice that I was able to have a group of them available at different times throughout the day. Here is a video of just all the participants that I had, and you could see how physically exhausted and drained they are. But when you look at them, you could tell that it was almost a sense of accomplishment from completing the task. Now, one of the things that I do want to show is that it wasn't all success. The workouts that I had, it did push the participants physically and mentally. And so here is a slide of one of those who couldn't get up or couldn't successfully complete this workout. Now, the reason why I wanted to show this was because I really tried to push the individuals that I created the workouts for. Sometimes there were rough days where they just didn't want to complete the workout, or they just were over it because mentally they weren't in the right mindset when the workout started to get a little bit more difficult. But what was nice though was having that group and that support system to cheer them on, to keep them and tell them to keep pushing. And so even though this one wasn't a success, this specific exercise wasn't successful, she continued to come to the workouts every day, which I loved. She didn't give up, and that was the whole purpose of this project. Here in this slide, we just have a few different exercises. You can see the different participants that we have, men and women, and it's just to show that it's a wide variety of different exercises and the male and female gender. Now, after I had done these surveys for about 4 months, I put together a survey chart, which I'm going to show in this next slide. And you could see the drastic change between the participants. So in the gray, the gray bar is the numbers that I put together from the surveys that were taken before the workouts. So as you can see, they're pretty low in numbers, especially in that first month of May. So May is when we first started this project. It's when everything was kind of up and running, trying to figure out all the loopholes and all the nitty-gritty details. But as the months progressed, as they continued to come to the workouts daily, and as they continued to take the surveys, I saw that their overall well-being just skyrocketed. And that was what I was looking for in this project. I wanted to see if consistent physical activity would lead to an overall emotional and mental well-being. So the gray bars, obviously the numbers were really low, meaning they had low energy throughout the day. They rated their mental and emotional health probably between a 6 and below. Weren't as excited to work out, didn't feel physically fit. And most of these, I believe the highest number I gotten before the workout was a 6. I never got anything higher than that. But after the workouts for those specific months, you could see in the red how dramatic the change was, and that was the whole purpose of what I wanted to do. In conclusion, of course, according to the survey and the chart that I just showed, all of those who participated in my study saw a significant change in not only their physical health, but their mental and emotional health as well. I asked a couple of my participants I asked how they felt about the workouts and what they thought about the whole study. And one of them said, I honestly didn't think that working out would help me, but I noticed after every workout I was a lot happier, even though I would have a crappy day. It made me want to come back to the workouts because overall I just felt better about myself. Another participant said, I really enjoyed how much the workouts pushed me physically and mentally. I could see a big change in the way I felt internally. I'm not as snappy and angry as before. In conclusion, physical activity is a great source for those looking for an out-of-the-box space. It promotes healthy living that activates endorphins to provide a healthy mind and emotional well-being. So I would definitely say that from this study, I was able to find that physical activity helps to create inner peace within individuals because it promotes an overall healthy well-being and overall happiness, and it helps promote healthy emotional and mental well-being. And so I highly recommend for those who are looking for a different source to to help promote their inner peace, physical activity is definitely one that I would promote.